Welcome to phase 2. Now that your project has been sitting for at least 24 hours, the glue has had a chance to set. We are now going to take the wedges out and get your project out of the assembly frame. We gave you one extra wedge with your kit, and that you're going to push in right here to get this wedge loose. That wedge will come out, and then you can do the same thing over on this side. Just push it in until this comes loose, and once that one comes out, the project should be pretty well free. If it isn't, and it's held down by the glue, just carefully push this in under one side, and as you slowly push that wedge underneath, the project will break loose and you'll be able to remove it from the assembly frame. Now you want to look the project over very carefully. If you see any bits of glue that you don't like, this is a good time to sand it off. Again, pay attention to make sure you sand with the grain as much as possible. I have a few stray burrs on this piece that I'm going to try to get rid of. If you want to round your edges a little more, this is a good time to do that too. Once you have this finished sanding done, I would recommend lifting your project up and spreading a piece of newspaper for the staining step, which is the next step. Now that we have our finished sanding done, we can begin applying the stain. I'll put on gloves, keep the stain off my hands. Since the stain is not water cleanup, I'm wearing gloves to keep my skin safe, and don't wear your favorite clothes when you're staining a project. Get your stain ready, have it close at hand, and your brush. Get your second rag out. We're going to be applying the stain, and then you can decide how dark or how light you would like your project to be, because after you apply the stain, you can then wipe off the excess. The sooner you wipe it, the lighter your project will be. The longer you leave the stain, the darker it will be. Take the lid off, and then begin to stain. Your ends will always soak up more stain than the sides and the face. Now I'm brushing it on all over, and then I'm planning to wipe everything with the rag to smooth out my brush marks. When you come to the end of a piece, if you go like this and drag your brush and flick, you'll end up with a whole spray of stain. So just be careful as you come to the end of your project with your brush that you don't spray wherever you're doing your project. And I'm almost done. I just have this last little corner to do. You can leave your project on the assembly board. It's a convenient place to let it dry. And make sure you check all your edges. Make sure you didn't miss a spot. Look at that, I missed a spot. Now that I've got that done, take the rag, and I'm just going to wipe it so that the stain looks as even as I can. Each one of these pieces of wood is a little bit different, and so each one will look slightly different, but that's part of what makes it look good. Doesn't matter if you get anything on the backside, because you're never going to see it because it's a clock. And then we let our piece dry.